Welcome back 3D students. In this video we'll begin to create the bones. So let's start by selecting our character and making him see-through. We can do that by right-clicking to bring up the quad menu and select Object Properties. Of course, first we have to select the character mesh, Object Properties, and we're going to check See-Through. We're also going to leave Show Frozen in Gray checked. And then I'm going to hide my buttons and threads because I don't really need to see that. That's just going to be in the way. And then I'm going to click away in my viewport here so I don't have anything selected. I have nothing selected. And I'm going to click the plus sign here to create a new layer. And this new layer is going to be called Bones. And I'm also going to make sure it is the current layer by clicking this little stack of paper icon right here. So the bones should be the current layer. And let's start by creating the spine. So let's go to the front viewport by hitting F on your keyboard. And we're going to use the bone tools. So let's come up to Animation and find the bone tools right here. And we're going to select Create Bones. And let's start right here at the crotch. And we're going to click and drag, and you can see these sort of side things on my bones. I don't want that right now. We're going to talk about that later. I'm going to uncheck these so that my fins don't happen. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to come up to about where his belly button would be. And then I'm going to come up again about where his neck would be. And then we're going to come right up to the top of the head, drag out, and then right-click to finish with a bone end. And then let's hit L on the keyboard to make sure that those bones are positioned properly. And this is why it's so important to have your character centered, because when you create bones in the front or left viewport, they are created on the zero plane, just like this. Let's go back to the front viewport. So now we need to add fins to the bones. The fins help to fill up the volume here and help the mesh to form well. If we don't have fins, it'll be much more difficult when we get to the skinning process. That's just the way 3D Max works. So let's turn off Create Bones and select the first bone here that we created. This is probably going to be the hip bone. And go to the Modify tab. And then in here you'll see the Bone Fins group. Check each box and then adjust the size of each fin so that it fills up the area. You don't want it sticking out of the mesh, but you want it, right about like that. And if you find a number, like 17 here, just go ahead and make the two sides the same number. Your numbers, of course, will be different. Then go to the left viewport by hitting L on your keyboard and adjust the side fins. Now, these can't be adjusted individually, so you're just going to have to adjust it so that it fits properly. You can also play with the taper here, and that helps them fit better inside the mesh. Go back to the front viewport, and I want you to select these. Oops. Let's go ahead and freeze that character mesh by clicking at the snowflake here in your Layers menu. Should have done that in the beginning. So let's select both of these two bones here, not the bone end, but these two right here. And in the bone tools, I want you to turn on each bone check, and you'll see that that does it for all the bones that are selected, so that's a useful thing. But we want to make sure that we're adjusting each bone individually. So let's select the second spine bone and adjust its front and back fin. I'll play with the taper here a little bit. And let's adjust the head. And let's go to the L, left viewport, and adjust those fins as well. Remember, those are the side fins. They are one unit. And before we leave, we're going to do two more things to the spine. I'm going to select all of them, and you can double click on the first bone in a chain to select all of them. Just double click like so. And I'm going to add a gradient here. I think my gradient I'm going to do is probably going to be yellow to orange. So I'm going to go select the start color swatch, which is right here, and then make that yellow. I'm going to select the end color swatch. I'm going to make that orange. And then I'm going to click Apply Gradient. You can see what that does. And then let's name these bones. So this one here that's in the head is going to be head. But before we type in head, let's type in BN. Let's give it a prefix of BN, BN underscore head. And then this one is going to be BN. This is going to be spine 01. And then this one here is going to be the hip bone. So BN underscore hip. Now it's very important that we name our bones, and it's very important that we give them this prefix of BN. You'll see why when we begin to skin the bones. Select the bone end and give it a different prefix of BE. And you'll see why when we get to the skinning process. And BE stands for bone end. Okay, now that we have the spine created, when we come back, we will create the root bone, which is a very important bone. And I'll see you then.